Hi, I'm Steve Sapato, and you're listening to The Happiness Agenda. The Happiness Agenda is where we help you discover your future. You go, well, that's weird, Steve. But let me tell you this, I don't care what you're going through, I don't care what you've been through. When you listen to the people on The Happiness Agenda, there's always ways for you to find your path to more happiness, to more success, and to a great future. Today, I have the wonderful pleasure of bringing on Joseph Langon, and I'll tell you what, he has a story to share. He should be on our speaker talk stage, shouldn't he? But today I want you to know that Joseph Langon is out there trying to make a difference. He's trying to change the narrative, and let him explain to you why. So here he comes. Joseph, are you there?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Mr. Steve? Wonderful
Excellent.
to be here with you, sir. Wonderful to be here.
My pleasure. So where do you live, by the way?
I live in Ohio right now.
Okay.
I'm in Cincinnati.
I'll forgive you for that.
Yes. You must be a Pittsburgh fan.
That's no, not at all. Matter of fact, I don't even watch sports. That's just not one of my things. I go, it's to me, if I watch all these people wearing all this uniforms and getting all the jerseys, and my son-in-law does that with his whole family. I mean, they spend a fortune on it. And I go,
wow,
how much are they paying you to do that? And he goes, well, they don't pay me anything. I went, why would you do it?
Wow.
Put the money in your pocket. Save it for your kids, right?
Yes.
Anyway, that's a whole different story. But that is kind of on the same line that Joseph is going for.
Yes.
So, Joseph, tell us. You started to tell us, and I cut you off to put you on the show faster. Tell us what you do in your background, your history, and how you got to where you are right now.
Okay, right now, I am a youth mentor. I am a book author. I am the author of this book right here, From the Sandbox to the Cell Block, A Story of Struggle, Oppression, and Redemption. And what happened to me can happen to anybody. At the age of 19, I went to prison for 22 years. And while I was in prison, I started the transformation. I had a reality check. And what happened was I had an epiphany. And that epiphany told me that, hey, you are the voice of the voiceless, but you can't go out there not prepared. So I couldn't wait till I get out of prison to do it. I had to wait while I was in there so I could marinate in my own intelligence, so I could see who I was, what I want to become, and how was I going to attack the problem. And from there, that's what catapulted me to where I'm at now as far as youth mentorship, trying to help men and women alike that's coming from the prison that has nothing or no resources. So we created jobs for them with the Flipping Hands Remodeling, which is a company that two of my comrades created who were once incarcerated with me as well. And they came out here and started their own business. And when I came home after them, I came home last year, they offered me a job and an opportunity so I can build my life. And I wanted to take that same thing that they gave me and share it with the world so we could be a problem solver, solve some problems.
Yeah, how cool is that? How cool is that? And we watch TV. I mean, that's what you see. I mean, that's as much as I know about prison, right?
Yes.
So what I know about prison, I learned on TV.
Yes.
But we ask the question all the time because we know it has to be difficult for people with a record to get out, because everybody that you see says, I don't think I'd hire a criminal. I don't think I'd hire somebody who's been. So for one thing, the prison doesn't necessarily teach new skills. We're not into rehabilitation.
Mm-hmm.
We're not trying to create successful people out of our prison, incarceration.
Yes, sir.
And so we ask that all the time. We go, well, then how do they make their way, and how come? And you hear about the small group, the small company who says, we're trying to help, parolees and that kind of stuff. But you've gone a step forward because your company's called Fast Flips Remodeling, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
and so
sir.
you help the people who got out of jail with real jobs, right?
Yes. Not only do we do that, I also have a program called the NCLB, which is the umbrella of everything that we're doing. The NCLB stands for No Comrades Left Behind. And what I do with that program, along with helping other men and women get jobs, as well as avoid the pitfalls that we had encountered on our journeys in life, because we have the experience, so we understand. So what I've done so far with the NCLB, I take kids to the zoo. I actually just went to this Winton Hills football team and got donations for them so they could get football equipment. And I seen the importance of a child being a child. It's imperative that people understand that your child has to be a child, because once they feel that they have to have responsibilities as an adult, then they find themselves in adult situations. So
isn't that the truth? Yeah.
Yeah. So we wanted to take it upon ourselves to actually be practical, to be practical.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. Again, the funny thing about what we don't know in America is how to treat the people who've been incarcerated. We don't know how to treat. I mean, everybody stands up and goes, you know what? They're criminals. They should be treated a certain way. But the answer is, and I shouldn't say the only answer, but part of the answer is they're criminals because they learned they had to be criminals.
Yes.
Unfortunately, our system does not reward honesty. It just doesn't.
Yes.
So half your life is really spent trying to avoid the rules and regulations, cheating on our taxes, whatever you want to call it. And so the system does not reward the really honest people.
No.
And the unfortunate dishonest people get caught and sent to prison.
Yeah.
So when we think about it in that term, and I know there's probably going to be people writing to me going, Steve, you're full of hooey, right? No. But when you have to go to jail, the reason you got there 10 times, so many things that probably got you there. Yes, whether you were a single parent family that you got lost on the way, whether you were around gangs when you were growing up, whether you just found out that I could steal stuff and get away with it for a long time. My son, he's older now, but when he came home when he called me one day from college, Joseph, and he said, Dad, I hate you. And I was like, well, why now?
Well, you waited too late.
And he said, well, because everybody gets free stuff but me. And I went, what does that mean? And he goes, well, they go to the mall and everybody comes back with free stuff but me. And I went, I don't understand. And what he was saying, and what we finally discussed out was he'd go with 5 people, let's say, all affluent college kids, and they'd shoplift and they'd steal stuff and they'd all come back with stuff, in their pockets or in their bags or whatever. And I had really taught him that the importance of not doing that, because when you shoplift, you're stealing from someone else.
Yes.
I've owned many small businesses, and I said, if you steal if you give me a free ice cream cone from that company, you didn't pay for it, somebody paid for it. So you're robbing from them.
Yes.
If you accept that ice cream cone, you accepted stolen merchandise.
Yes,
now, that's not that big a deal on that level. But when you learn that when they get to be 18, 20 years old, and they're still stealing, we have a problem. And the problem is we do everything we can get away with. Well, then suddenly you find you can't get away with it. And like Joseph, you end up going to jail at 19 years old for what, 22 years, you said?
22 years.
Yeah, see? So if nobody in the jails, in the prisons, and our prisons are not set up to teach people skills.
No,
so he had to learn his own way. He had to fight his way out. And that's what's really important here, is he's starting to help the youth of America, the youth in his area, to look up to people, to find the right mentors. And even more than that, the people who've already suffered what he suffered, when they come out, imagine you got a record. I mean, it's tough enough to get a job today anyway, but you come out with a record, you want to get a decent paying job.
Yes, sir.
So what better way than to help somebody flip houses, fast flip, right? Remodeling there in Ohio.
Yes, sir.
Honest, boy, that's the way to do it, right? So tell us about what else you do.
Okay, now, see, I started my own book publishing company, which is Joseph P Langon Enterprise, LLC. I was only out of prison 1 month when I started my business. 3 months, I published my own book through Amazon. So in 90 days, I started my own business and had a book in stores.
And what's the name of the book again?
It's called From the Sandbox to the Cell Block. It's actually a true story about my life.
Is that your picture?
Yes, sir. That's me.
I think he has a couple tattoos. What do you guys think?
Yeah. So what I found, see, there's so many different ways people approach this, but the way I wanted to approach it was through experience, also incentive based, meaning when we take kids from their neighborhoods who rather play sports than shoot guns, you have to invest in that. So what I do, I get on social media and I'll bring out the kids. They're out there selling waters. They're doing grinding, like football. They're grinding. And what's important to me is to put that in deep into their mind that they can do anything they want. And I'm so open about my story because my story is going to influence someone to be better one day. Actually, it's doing it now. Influence me to be better, actually, my own story. So I said, hey, when I came home, I seen all these different programs that was making millions of dollars off of nonprofits saying that they represent the prisoners, but none of them was doing anything for us.
Isn't that crazy? That's crazy all by itself. Here's the not-for-profits who are supposed to be helping all these people, and yet most of the money doesn't get put to the right place.
It doesn't go anywhere. So I said to myself, and two of the comrades that started Fast Flips Remodeling, they already knew that I was into the youth because I knew from prison. We was all in prison together years ago, and we all came home, became entrepreneurs. So we came together and said, hey, look, let's change the community. I'm not from Ohio, I'm from New York City. So I have brothers and sisters in New York City as well as doing the same work I'm doing out here. So we have a movement. We have a movement, and what we need right now is more people to invest in this. And I don't mean just money. It could be time. It could be highlighting these young men and women in these poor areas who want better by going up every day, even though they hit gunshots every day, but they found peace in football. They find peace in basketball. They find peace in writing. They find peace in communication. Those are the people that we have to salvage.
Absolutely right. You said something interesting. It doesn't have to be money, but it was just a month or two ago when I read an article, and it was Beyonce and whoever her husband is, and they bought a $30 million car. I don't care what kind of car it was. It doesn't matter to me what kind of car it was. No. And everybody gets on me that they have a right to spend their money the way they want, Steve. I go, but we have the opportunity. When you get that much money, when you're that rich, you have the opportunity to change people's lives.
Yes,
that's what Joseph is doing right here. And I said, you know what? If she just took that $30 million, obviously it's just change money to her if you can afford to buy a car with it. If she'd have just taken that pocket change money of $30 million and put it on one school system, she could change that entire neighborhood.
Oh my God, right? Mr. Steve, you are so right.
See, and that's what's insane about this. So by the same token, if we give $10, if 100,000 of us gave $10, guess what? That's money that could change an environment. And that's what we're out to do. That's what Joseph's out to do, right, Joseph?
That's powerful, Mr. Steve. You couldn't say, since I met you, you have been so genuine and your personality is infectious. And I can see that you really care. You really care. And I want people to know this, sir. Everything that I do, everything that I say, every dollar that I recuperate, it's seen on all my social medias. I'm with the kids. I'm at the zoos. I'm really teaching financial literacy. I'm really teaching young men and women how to express themselves through. I never wrote a book in my life. Never knew nothing about none of it. Never knew nothing about business at all.
Did somebody help you write it so that you got the verbiage right and all that?
I wrote the whole book. I wrote 3 of them. I wrote 3 books.
Well, see, because sorry, but I don't mean to make it sound this way, but I say when I write my books, I then give them to an editor, and I give them to the book people so that they can look them over and make sure everything's the way it should be, so that people can read it without. Go ahead.
I have a book publisher. She works for my company. I have my own company.
Okay. Yeah.
So she
which reminds me right now. First of all, you publish for other people too, right?
Yes.
Okay. So tell us the name of your company and how they get in touch with you.
Okay, my name is Joseph P Langon, which is the name of my company, Joseph P Langon Enterprise LLC. And what we do, we'll take anybody's book. If you have a book that's already done, like written on paper, me and my team, which is Amanda Campbell, who is my personal editor, she takes your book, reevaluates it, type everything up, put it in book form, and then she publish it for you. Simple. You have to do nothing but write it.
Cool. Okay, so you gave us Joseph P Langon Enterprises LLC, yes. But do you have a website?
Yes. It's the same thing, josephplangdon.com. As well as I also use my email, which is josephplangdon22@icloud.com. I use that a lot because I'm always on the phone, networking, communicating, building. Actually, what's crazy, I'm about to be on a radio station in Cleveland in a couple days with a lady named Ms. Gay Lisa, and she's also someone who invests in the community. So what we've done so far, I actually just hired one of her guys that she mentors in jail. We just hired him to start work for us this Tuesday. And he's only been out of prison, I would say 3 days, right? And she contacted me because she knew that I would be willing to help him, right? Even though we don't have much, because we're doing this out of our own pocket, sir. I forgot to tell you that. Everything we do out of our own pockets. We don't have nobody donating. Nobody, honestly,
you don't have Beyonce donating to you, huh?
No one cares. No one cares, Mr. Steve. You would think. Now, if you go look at if these people that's up here right now, Go look at my social media, my Instagram, my Facebook, or whatever the case may be, because I'm on everything, LinkedIn, everything. When they see what I'm really doing, not just talking, but when they actually see what we're doing with these children, what we're doing with these young men and women before they go to prison. See, we're trying to prevent them from going to prison.
Absolutely.
But for those who do go to prison, that's why my program is established for them too, because you didn't listen in the beginning. So now we got to teach you again. So this is what you have to do. And I have a system so well oiled machine ready that what I do, I enhance their being. I don't ask them what they want to do. I find out what they want to do. And then I provide those resources to them. And it's been working. It's been working. I've been doing so many different things. And people like you is vital, sir, that they see that people out here are really coming from prison, really being effective. We are really effective. We are the people that they threw away at one time, but now we're the people out here saving the youth.
That's right.
You see?
And that's really important that people start to sit up and pay attention. America's in a place right now where we need Josephs in the world.
Yes,
we
sir.
need to start helping each other. You know, we're all about separating the blacks and the whites. We're all about separating Hispanics and the Asians. And you know what? That's not what we should be about. We should be about coming together to help each other. America was once founded upon the fact that we helped each other. I mean, originally, everybody fought with everybody. But, you know, when I always go back to the Native Americans fought with Native Americans before the white people ever showed up, right? They were tribes fighting tribes. And you got to understand that seems to be a nature for most human beings, is to find a way to fight with each other. But once civilization truly comes in together, we have the opportunity to work together to improve everyone's life. And I don't mean turn it into socialism or communism. I'm talking about helping each other.
Contributions.
You know, absolutely. So when it comes time, I mean, Beyonce is a great singer, and people say, well, she's a phenomenal singer. I go, but you know, if you listen to TikTok or YouTube or any of those, there's a whole bunch of phenomenal singers out there who don't get paid anything, who could sing at least as good as Beyonce, maybe better than Beyonce, and they're undiscovered. So when people get that big head that, hey, look what I deserve and what I'm worth, it's like, you know, there's hundreds of other people who can replace you. But there's no one out there replacing Joseph, and that's really important. That's why I put his website up here, josephplangon.com. I put it up there because I want you to understand that we have to reach out to each other. We have to start doing the things that are going to change people's lives. Joseph, I'm gonna make an offer here.
Yes, sir.
I do a thing called Speaker Talks. You've heard of TEDx?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I do a thing down here in Tampa called Speaker Talks, and it's like a TEDx, but I charge people to get on the stage to get their 15-minute video. I teach them for 2 months how to be better speakers and better presenters, so they can really get their messages out there in a way that people want to listen. And obviously, some of my people want to go on for speaking careers and get paid, so I teach them that too. But we normally do it every 6 months right here in Tampa. We just finished the last one. The next one coming up is in January. It's going to be a 4-day cruise to Cozumel, Mexico.
Wow.
If you would like to go on that, I can't give it to you for free, but I can give it to you at my cost. Just so you know. But you could be one of the 15 speakers I put on my stage if you're interested.
That's what I do, sir.
What I'm going to do is I'll put out when we get done here. I'll send you an email, and include the link and tell you exactly how we might want to work together to get that done. But that way, when we're done, you will have a really professional 15-minute video that you can put out to everybody, so that everybody goes, we need to stand up and pay attention to Joseph P Langon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because it's vital. And I want to say this to you, Mr. Steve, because there's people like you who empathize, right? Who have empathy. And that's what a lot of us lack, is empathy. But I want to say this. Once you go on my websites, my Instagram, especially because I do a lot up there, Instagram, and you will see that I've only been out of prison for 8 months, sir, by the way. In 8 months that I've been out of prison.
How many of us have done anything in the last 8 years compared to what Joseph's done in 8 months?
I've been out 8 months after 22 years. And right now, I'm going to be honest with you. I've talked to so many people, done so many podcasts, and I'm going to tell you the most important thing to me. When they look on my website, what they're going to see is a rainbow, right? I'm talking to Mormons. I go into the Mormon churches and talk to them about so many people have these misconceptions about different groups of people, like they don't have problems as well. So I went in there and they shared their problems with the world with me, Then I'll go over here and talk to the gang members. I have all of this stuff, like everything I do is up there, so it can never be disputed. I've talked to so many different Bloods, Crips, Mormons, youth. Take them to the zoo. I've done 8 months. I did all this, and I get a satisfaction out of it. Not only that, Mr. Steve. Let me tell you the most important thing. I have a team of people out here who are just like me. We all working together, trying to figure out how we're going to conquer the oppression, how we're going to conquer the misconceptions of what poverty is and how you should look at those people. We really have a grand idea of how we can galvanize people and bring them together, because when they see people coming out of prison, they don't think about me. They think, I'm so far from that.
That's right. That's right. And they went and they see your tattoos and they see this, and we all make those decisions. We all make decisions. That's one of the big things. I've been openly trying to challenge all of the stereotypes. I'll say things that are totally offensive at times because I want people to go, "What did you just say?" I go, "That's what I want you to know. I can say this because maybe I don't understand that. I'm the other guy. I don't get this, so I say this about you." And people go, "You shouldn't say that." I go, "No, that's right. No one should say it. But if we don't talk about it, if we don't grab a hold of these ideals that we need to tear down, then nobody's going to do it." And that's what you and I are doing out there. We're saying, hey, because you're only what, 40, 41?
42.
42, and I'm 72, so I got a couple years on you. And you're changing the lives of the youth. And quite honestly, that was not my strength. My strength is in teaching people how to be better presenters, how to change the world from the stage, that type of thing. But that's what it's all about, isn't it? For all of us to learn where we can change the world. And that's why he's on this podcast today, is we're looking for a few more people to help him change the world. Now, you don't have to join his group. You don't have to join his organization or company. What you have to do is start taking his ideas and saying, I wonder if I could do that here. And then reach out to him. Then reach out to him and say, how did you do it? Because I would like to learn how to do it. And that's
the key, sir. See, that's the key. Now, what people don't realize is this. When we're talking about education, my thing is this: financial literacy is very important in the ghettos of America, right? I have to use that word, the ghettos all across America, because all the crime that comes out of these areas, 90%, if you look it up statistically, is from being poor.
That's right. So not having enough money.
Not having enough money. Right.
And you know what? That's and again, if you look back on my podcast or the ones coming up that are going to be broadcast, that's one of the things I talk about too, Joseph, is we need to start educating the children. We need to educate them on how to get along with each other. We need to educate them on how to deal with disappointment, because the reason people go out and shoot each other, do this, because they haven't learned to deal with that emotional side of them that says, I'm so angry. Have them deal with that. Have them learn how to have relationships, because most of us, we're taught by the people who are teaching other people. Well, let's face it. If your grandmother and grandfather were terrible people, now I don't mean terrible people, but like they abused the kids because they thought that was how they were supposed to do it. So they would beat them or spank them. And then your parents would do the same thing and beat them or spank them. And then, so what do I know how to do? Beat and spank. And so I wasn't learning from the place of love and attention and relationship, right? And so we have to educate the children who aren't coming from those places and teach them that this is how relationships really work. Now, exactly what you said. We also have to then say, do you know how money works? I always tell people, the rule of 70. I was in Las Vegas with 250 people at this World Education Conference for meeting planners, right? And so I'm in this giant room, and I asked the people in that room, I said, how many people here know the rule of 72 when it comes to money? And nobody raised their hand. Nobody. And I went, wow, how can that be? These are all middle income people, right? I don't know how much money they make, but they're meeting planners across America. And not one of them knew the rule of 72, or at least they weren't willing to raise their hand. And all that means is, hey, if you take whatever interest rate you're getting on your money. So let's say the average person has $1,000 and they put it in the savings account in the bank because they go, I need to save my money. And the banks right now are paying less than 1%. Okay, less than 1%. So if they put $1,000 into that, well, 1,000, it's the rule of 72 says you take your interest rate, divide it into 72, and that's how long it'll take your money to double.
Wow.
Well, if you take 1 into 72, that means 72 years from now, that money will be worth $2,000. Well, that's terrible. But if you know that rule, right? I didn't learn it till I was 55. Nobody taught me either. That's why I'm like you. I'm on a mission to teach other people all kinds of stuff. But let's put it in simple terms. If you went like I have John Deere stock, John Deere farm equipment, and I don't know what it's getting, but it's getting damn good interest rate right now, right?
Yeah.
And so if we use that, and let's say John Deere stock is getting 10% interest, okay? 10 goes into 72 7 times. So if I wanted to, if I'm your age, 40 years old, and I put $1,000 in John Deere stock and it doubles every 8 years, take 1,000 at 42, at 50 it's 2,000, at 58 it's 4,000, at 66 it's 8,000, and at 72, right, you'll have $16,000 from a one-time $1,000 investment. Now imagine that you did that starting when you were 20, right? You would have $100,000 from a $1,000 investment. And you think, how come our children don't know that? Because talking about money is taboo. It's forbidden. Adults will tell you, we're talking about money. You need to leave the room. No. We need to start teaching. And that's what our education, I got way off the beam, but that's actually, our education system has to teach financial.
That's vital.
That's
Mr.
right.
Steve,
Absolutely right.
See, what I do now, and I chalk this up to me having a vision, and that's what I do now with kids. Lemonade stands. That's very important in my organization. We make sure we show them how to open up lemonade stands. And a lot of people, when they seen it on TV or they see it in the neighborhood, they didn't realize it wasn't just a lemonade stand they was doing.
That's right.
Huh?
That's right.
It was teaching that child financial literacy, responsibility, accountability. These are the things that I personally teach, because I know and understand, Mr. Steve, that even though we do this with our own money, because we work jobs, we flip the houses, we get paid, we still take the money into our neighborhoods. Like I said, I'm on Instagram every day doing the same things with different, that is not one group of people. I do a white, black, Spanish, I don't care who you are. Because when I was incarcerated, I met so many different types of people in there that was good to me. So I want to project that same energy out here in the world and show the world that, hey man, I did 22 years in there. I did do that. And I did everything they said I did. Right? That's accountability. Number two is, now, this is how I made the transformation. Part two. Part three is now I'm out here manifesting what my thoughts were.
That's right.
You know?
And I don't know where you got it, but I'm glad you got it. And we're running on to the last 3 minutes of this, but I really appreciate that you're able to vocalize what you're doing and who you're doing it with. So again, it's Joseph P Langon.
Yes.
Right. If you want to go to Joseph P Langon Enterprises. Yep. So you can go to josephplangdon.com for his website. And I highly encourage you to go at least snoop. If you say, I don't know, just go snoop. That's all I'm asking you to do. If you listen to this podcast, just go snoop at his website and see what you might take away. If you're another person who says, I've been wanting to change the world, well, guess what? If you start what he's doing in your neighborhood, you can be a world changer. And the reason I started Speaker Talks down here in Tampa was because I saw the opportunity for every speaker with a message like Joseph to get on a stage, be projected as an expert in their area, and change lives. How many lives? Let's say Joseph only changed 5. Let's say he only changed 5. Well, how many Josephs do you want in the world to change 5 lives at a time? 5 lives. 5. Wow. Could we make a difference? We absolutely can. And that's what we need to start doing. When we talk about our society, we need to stop waiting for the government to take care of us. The government doesn't care about you. Have you noticed that yet? You got to worry about the Joseph P Langdons of the world who care about you and want to help.
Thank you, sir. And we have a whole team of them. My name is Joseph P Langdon. On every major website, every social media is the same name. And what I really want people to do is go really look at my work. Go look on Instagram, go look on these different places, because I am really a contribution to the world. Not only that, my niche is this. I'm able to communicate with the underbelly, the hoods and things like that. Then I'm also able to bridge the gap and communicate with people like you. And when I mean people like you, I'm talking about people who haven't been through prison and things like that, but able to share this message of determination and how we do have value. And what happens is a lot of them that are in that prison, they don't learn how to communicate. They don't learn how to converse. They don't know how to express themselves. So what happens is they bottle it up And then they angry because they want to say something, but they just don't know how.
That's right.
So
They
that's
don't know
why I'm
how.
here. That's why I'm here, to say what got to be said, do what needs to be said. And if anybody want to join us, we are more than grateful to help you. Everything we do is transparent. We don't do nothing behind the doors. Everything is in your face.
We love that. And that's what we need more of. As we wrap up this episode of the Happiness Agenda, I
Yes,
want you to think probably, and I'll say 99.9% of you out there, it's like the virus, right?
yes,
99% of you out there
yes,
have never experienced prison or jail.
yes.
And that doesn't mean you can't help other people.
Oh,
Doesn't
no,
mean
no,
you can't do something. So
no.
I want you to think about what you can do with
Yes,
your life and how you can change lives. And
yes,
that's what we're doing on the Happiness Agenda. You say, well, Steve, you don't understand, Steve. Right now I'm broke. Great. Today you're broke. Broke is a state of, broke is a temporary condition. Poverty is a state of mind. And there's a
indeed.
huge difference. So I want you to think, what can I do? How do I do this? There's all kinds of opportunities out there. You want an opportunity? Write to us. Write to Joseph. Write to me. I'm Steve at stevesapato.com. We will try and give you a little bit of our information
Sure,
to help you
sure.
grow yourself. Right,
Yes,
Joseph?
indeed, sir. Yes, indeed. That's what
30
it's all
seconds
about.
for one thing last to say.
I would like to say, for all the people out there who has a heart, who cares about the youth, who cares about second chances, I believe that you should tap into Joseph P Langon. We are doing great things. We just started, but it's already a movement. We are in different cities already. We have people in different states trying to tap in, and we just trying to unify under one voice, which is everybody deserves a chance, and everybody should have some type of happiness in their life.
I love that. I love that, my friend.
Yes,
And
sir.
we're connected now, so make sure you stay connected to me. I
Oh
want to.
yes,
I want to
you're my
move this
friend now.
forward.
You're my friend.
Yeah,
You're my friend because
absolutely.
I got a lot of things I want to show you, man. We doing some man, we
That'll be
doing some
cool.
great things. I'm just encouraged right now.
That's great. Okay, this has been the Happiness Agenda, and we have to sign off. And I sure appreciate you all being here and joining us today. If there's anything you need, reach out to me, Steve at stevesapato.com. But until the next time, God bless.
God bless.
Yeah.